Hello and welcome to Behind the Podcast. I'm Brandon.
I'm Moose.
I'm Weston.
And what are y'all playing today?
I'm playing nothing right
I'm
now.
currently on a podcast.
Well, that's not true. You're playing Prestige, Miguel.
I'm playing Pretend
okay,
YouTube Celebrity.
I am in like 4 games of Prestige right now.
That's true. You're in a
4
lot
of
of
them-
games of Prestige.
Yeah.
I haven't played Prestige.
It's for those who don't know, it's this mobile app game that we've been playing. That's definitely a straight rip off of Splendor.
Is it by the same people?
I think calling it a ripoff is being nice. Like it's completely like
It's the exact same
beyond
game,
that, yeah.
but by not the license holders.
Exactly.
but
But it's free.
It's free. It's multiplayer, and it doesn't have ads that I noticed.
No, I'm not even sure how that.
I don't
How
even
that
know how they
works.
make
Well,
money.
if it's a ripoff, then they can't have ads.
That's probably fair.
But then why did they make it? Just for fun, I guess, maybe? Maybe
So
for the
that-
love of the game.
For love of the game, not having to
There's
pay
no
it. But
in-app in-app purchases?
I would.
I would pay like $3-4 for it.
I think Days of Wonders is like $4 or $5 for it. It's not bad,
Yeah.
and since you do Google survey rewards, why not?
I don't. I'm the only one who doesn't.
You should, so that you can buy games for free.
I just then buy games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I don't. Actually, it's not true. I just
that's
don't
weird
buy
for an
games.
unemployed person.
Yeah.
Unemployed and don't want free money.
So, are you getting into Prestige with us, Brandon?
No,
It's fun.
I don't do mobile games.
I got in trouble for playing it.
Why?
I had a
Where?
dinner. Because I was at a
Oh,
dinner.
that's different.
That's a whole nother story.
That's different. You didn't get in trouble. You had dinner with
You're
assholes.
just a terrible person.
Yeah.
You had dinner with
Yeah.
assholes.
No,
Yeah.
he was the asshole.
No.
No.
That's
too long of a story.
That's a story
We're not
for a
gonna
different day,
disparage
not
them
on this podcast.
on here.
But
yeah.
that's fair. And yeah, I can see that you don't do mobile games, but it's really just a board game.
I don't do
so it's
mobile
not-
games
I
either,
played-
really.
Yeah, it's not really a mobile game, honestly.
I install mobile games every now and then, and I'll play it for like a day and then never open it again. So
Me
I've got
too.
Yeah.
Pocket Morty's just sitting there, never
Yeah.
opened.
I have Knights of the Republic, one of my favorite games that I got. I actually bought it. It's free. It's advertised free all over the place now, but I bought it for like $10. And I got maybe, like 3 or 4 hours into it. And somehow it plays extremely well on my device, and I'm so impressed by what they did, except for the turret shooting minigame, which is absolutely awful. But to be fair, it was always awful.
Yeah.
But it's extra awful when you have to like swipe.
Swipe to move.
That
Yeah.
doesn't work. But still, one of my favorite games of all time. I just can't be bothered to play it for more than a couple hours on my phone. It's like my phone has an innate, lifespan of anything I'm doing on it that I can't focus on. But if I'm on my computer or a console, I can dedicate, 4 hours to staring at that screen. But I can't on my phone. It just gets me. Okay, so besides mobile games, I just beat last night Dragon Ball Xenoverse.
Nice.
There we go.
I just showed you I was lowering the volume on my phone.
Oh, you think we pay attention to
I have
you,
to take my
Miguel?
keys out in order to lower
I
the
have a
volume on my
phobia
phone.
of people not paying attention to me, and you're just validating my fears.
Yeah,
Except I didn't have to do
you
that.
should be afraid of that.
But the fun thing is, once you beat Dragon Ball Xenoverse, that's kind of honestly, if you're like gonna
Xenoverse
really
2
get
is coming out.
if you get really into the game, beating it is only the start, right? Because then it unlocks all of the character slots. So I beat it as a human. Now I'm playing Saiyan. Yeah, I was basically way better than Krillin though. And even the game, I really appreciate Xenoverse because they totally like lampshade and are fully aware of how ridiculous their universe is, and
Hey, Dragon Ball
totally
Z is,
embrace it.
Dragon Ball Z is a very serious thing.
Yeah.
Sure it is.
Sure, Brandon. Sure.
The comedy that they try to inject through the characters and like moments of levity in very dire situations are not great. Those feel really forced. But it feels like everyone who made the game had an understanding of humor. And so like, like where a writer is like, haha, this is funny, big giant arrow pointing to what's funny. Whereas all of the other ones, like you can get Z souls that you equip, right? And they change your abilities based on I am Super Saiyan Vegeta, and it's whenever I have max ki that I activate Super Saiyan, it just all of a sudden pops up on the screen. I am Super Saiyan Vegeta, and then you get like less health and more damage and stuff like that. But some of them are ridiculous, like "Don't you hurt my Bulma," and it has nothing to do with anything that happens in the game. And this isn't even my final form. Is one of them. It's one of the Z. It's so funny. It's really great. I'm not even. I guess I'm a Dragon Ball Z fan, but I've not even seen past the Cell Saga, and I've barely seen the Cell Saga. I've missed like half of them. So I wouldn't consider myself the biggest Dragon Ball Z fan, and I'm not the biggest fighting fan for sure.
Right.
I really liked Xenoverse.
I want to play that.
I really liked it. It was very good. I'm excited to go through it all over again.
Yeah, if you are gonna watch Dragon Ball Z Kai. Don't watch the original series.
Think so? I don't think so. I watched an episode. I wasn't enjoying it.
It's everything that's good about the original series minus everything that's bad about the original series.
Well, that's just the filler, and I can skip.
Well, yeah, it's
not better.
It's not 12 episodes of screaming every season.
It's 0 episodes of show then?
Yeah, it's nothing. There's nothing that happens. Dragon Ball Z is filler. You either don't watch it or... No, it's not as bad as Bleach, man. I wish they would do a Kai version of Bleach. Because I actually...
Cut out that season.
I really liked...
Just cut out that season.
Cut out 400 episodes, and then you'll have some content.
Yeah, no. If you're gonna use a bad example of filler, then Naruto is the way to go.
Okay,
where,
I haven't watched Naruto.
Like 2/3 of the series is filler.
I just couldn't believe... So I got into Bleach when I was like 18, right? And I got some of the manga and things like that. But a lot of them were out already. It was up to like 34th edition or whatever here. And I had like the first 5, and I was like, oh yeah, I got them at like half price books back when they would actually sell manga for really cheap because they thought nobody wanted it. I read them all, and I was like, wow, this is a really good arc. Okay, the next arc, Rukia has been captured and is being held against her will for anything, but she was like a really strong character to me, so I was like, okay, well, let's not have... I wonder how long she's in prison for. And then I picked up number 10, still in prison. Picked up number 20, still in prison. Picked up number 36, the one that was just out. Still in prison, still doing absolutely nothing. Not a character, not involved, just a stupid, worthless person who's in prison. And I was like, wow, screw this series. And I dropped it, and I've never picked it up since. And then I did look at the episode listing online, right? And I skipped to episode 140, and she was still in prison. And I was like, screw this stupid series. What a dumb series. I'm sorry, Bleach fans.
I don't want to spoil this for you or anyone else out there.
I already know the spoilers, but...
even when she gets out of prison, she still doesn't do anything.
I know. I've heard that. It makes me really mad.
They set her up in like the very first few episodes to
be super powerful or whatever.
To be a major character. She's his mentor and all this other stuff. He got his powers from her, blah, blah, blah.
And then they're like, girls aren't interesting, and they're weak, worthless people.
Yeah, she's like, and then they're just like, oh yeah, she's freed from prison, and then you'll never see her again. And then you do see her, and she doesn't do anything.
Yeah, yeah, it made me mad. Plus, it was so Dragon Ball Z with the, no, I'm half hollow, half Super Saiyan times 3. And I'm like, I already invested in one anime series that does this. I don't need more.
hey, and that wasn't even Goku's final form.
No, he becomes a god. A Super Saiyan god. And fights the god of destruction over spilled pudding, literally, almost destroying the earth. It's like they just stopped trying. If they ever did.
I thought that was one thing that was funny. Like, no one liked Dragon Ball GT, which was the one that wasn't based on the manga. They were just like, you know what? We're gonna freeball this.
Yeah, we're just gonna come up with anything off the top of our head.
Yeah.
Well, and then I hear Goku becomes a child again, and
he gets there's a set of black Dragon Balls that the normal Dragon Balls, the normal Dragon Balls are just on your planet. The black Dragon Balls are all over the galaxy. But any planet that wishes on the black Dragon Balls will explode in a year if you don't bring them back together, and they go all over the galaxy. It's crazy. Nonsense. And he has to go find them as a kid.
I assume one lands on Earth.
No, they have all of them on Earth. And that's how he gets turned into a kid.
Oh. What? Whatever. That's not part of Xenoverse, so...
Yeah, no, that one doesn't exist. They've retconned that, and the new series takes place after Boo.
Nice. I haven't seen the Boo series either. Which was really, like, playing through it in Xenoverse, I was like, what the... It's supposed to be like, wow, the timeline's all wrong, and I'm watching and I'm like, is it? I don't know.
Yeah. So I never read all the way through the manga. I didn't read
it. I've never read it ever.
So I assumed that the Boo series was official part of the manga. And then I read that Kai wasn't going to do the Boo series at all. They were going to stop at Cell Games, which made me think maybe it's not part of the manga. Maybe it's like GT. They just made it up. And then they're like, you know what, actually everyone likes Boo. We're going to do that. So now I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
So now Kai goes all the way up to Boo and stops. And then that's where the new series starts.
Is it already done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kai. Well, it finished last year, I think. So,
okay.
And then the new series has that weird animation style that I don't like.
Do you know how I'm catching up to everything in Dragon Ball? DBZ abridged. Honestly,
it's so funny.
It's the best way to watch it. Man, it's so good, those guys.
Oh, yeah. Team 4-Star makes amazing stuff. Yu-Gi-Oh! Bridge was hilarious.
I've watched the other ones, and they have really good moments, but they don't seem to keep up that
they're
level.
They're not as ridiculous as Dragon Ball Z.
Right,
it's
Dragon Ball is
just
a perfect... Yeah, Dragon Ball Z is just a perfect, like... Nothing here makes sense. Everything is ridiculous. The characters are ridiculous. Goku is an idiot savant. And, it's just ripe for comedy.
He's just a country kid. He's just a big old country bumpkin.
Yeah. Wow, so you're a girl, huh? Slap, slap ass.
Where's your ball bag? I like sleeping on the ball bag.
Yeah, wow. Good job, Goku. Way to make it awkward. Yeah. You don't like Dragon Ball, do you?
Unpopular opinion ahead. Dragon Ball sucks. It's not that it sucks. I just
what about Dragon Ball Z?
I thought Dragon Ball was way better than Dragon Ball Z.
I mean,
I actually don't.
So I don't like anything Dragon Ball. Period.
There you go.
Dragon Ball Z makes me wonder why people exist sometimes.
It is really
Dragon Ball GT is terrible. Like I could definitely see why people would like it. I'm not saying that other people are really, whatever. I watch it, I don't care. I find it dumb.
Did you grow up with it?
With it? I didn't watch it when I was younger.
See,
and that's probably
I don't think I would like it if I didn't grow up with it.
Probably what it is. I didn't actually really watch it. I saw maybe a couple of episodes of Dragon Ball Z when I was younger and didn't know what the heck was going on, and so I didn't watch it then. And going back and watching Dragon Ball now in any incarnation, I'm like, no, not something I'm getting into.
Just watch Abridged. You don't miss anything. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they are funny. That is funny.
Did you see the Kai ones they did though? They've done 2 episodes of Kai.
No,
I haven't seen that.
It's just like all the Cliff Notes, but instead of it being Cliff Notes necessarily for the story,
already the Cliff Notes.
I know
it's Cliff Notes.
Well, I mean that's what they're. But instead of it being Cliff Notes for the story, it's Cliff Notes for their own jokes throughout the series. And so Nappa shows up for a total of 5 seconds, right? And he just goes, "I am hilarious, and you will quote everything I say." And boom, and he blows up. that's it. And it's just really funny. What was it Vegeta's? I'm on your planet. I want the Dragon Balls. I've got your kid. I'm a monkey now. I'm not a monkey anymore. I'm leaving now. It's really really funny.
Oh man, I'll have to watch that. That's hilarious.
It's one of those like self-referential ones though. Like if you didn't watch the series, it's still kind of funny, but you don't get why it's really, really funny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, and I can't remember who it is, but one of the voice actors for Team 4-Star is in Dragon Ball Xenoverse. You can pick him as a voice. And sometimes when you talk to people, they just have like a little clip they say. And one of them is the guy who does Vegeta. I mean, who does Nappa, I think. And literally you walk up and talk to a guy and he just goes, "Vegeta?" But you're not Vegeta. and Vegeta's nowhere nearby, and you're like, what? Like, if you didn't know Team 4-Star and you didn't recognize that voice instantly, you'd be like, what the fuck? Like, why are you doing it? That's how not serious. That's the most ridiculous thing they have in the game is that voice and that person saying that. But it is like, wow, you guys went for mostly comedy in this. Like, it's a good game, but you did not take yourself seriously, which I appreciate.
That's what they should do, because Dragon Ball Z was never supposed to be serious in the first place. So if they made a game and took themselves too serious,
it did though. Dragon Ball Z did kind of. I mean, it was hard to take seriously, but Goku would have his. You killed all my family. I'm going to end you. It's ridiculous.
But I mean, that's one of the things. I mean, that's why Dragon Ball Z was that way. Is because they took everything to such an extreme as sort of. I mean, the whole thing was supposed to be a parody of that type of show.
Was it?
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was just the epitome of that type of show.
Yeah, I wasn't really sure.
Like Gurren Lagann is kind of a
right.
and Kill la Kill. Those are parodies on the genre.
But it wasn't supposed to be a serious show, even from Dragon Ball. That's why they have
Dragon
all of
Ball
those jokes and stuff.
Yeah, Dragon Ball was very comedic. But Dragon Ball Z, I mean, like, I think the funniest thing that ever happened was Trunks holding up an energy ball going, "This yours?" And that was, like, the funniest thing. So it wasn't real funny. And Chi-Chi being homicidal, I guess. Just an insane woman that everyone needs to avoid. Which, they make fun of that in Team 4-Star. And it's funny because they're not really being ridiculous in their portrayal, because that is what she does. Mm-hmm. She, like, literally everyone is frightened of her, but at the same time
she's an Amazon.
But at the same time she's entirely useless, despite being like one of the stronger people in the main series. Well, she wasn't that strong. She just had a head thing, didn't she?
She's never in any fights. She's like one of the weakest people of Team Z.
I thought she fight. Whatever. I don't remember. But you can get her outfit in DBZ. Her kid outfit, which then when on adults, you're like, wow, that's kind of ridiculous looking.
Is it still a kid outfit on the adult? Like it's super tight?
Well, it stretches to fit you, but then you're like, wow, she really wasn't like a hypersexualized outfit for being 10 or however old she was in that series. Which then makes you be like, oh, that's uncomfortable.
Enough about anime, though. Back to video games.
Next time I'm behind the anime.
Moose, what are you playing?
I'm not playing anything different than last time. I'm still playing Fallout. I installed Witcher yesterday, and I got home like after midnight.
Which Witcher?
Witcher 3?
Witcher 3.
Oh, okay.
And I did not actually play because I just went straight to bed.
Yeah, you need time to play The Witcher 3.
Right. Well, I wasn't in stream last night, and I got home a lot later than I thought I was going to. I still hadn't eaten, so...
I haven't played any of the Witchers, but I want to.
If you do not start with 1, it will be very difficult to play 1. Let me tell you what. Because
I've had people tell me not to play 1 because it's buggy or something.
It's not that it's buggy, it's just The Witcher 1 is built off the KOTOR engine, and...
Knights of the Old Republic.
Knights of the Old Republic, and it plays very poorly, I'm going to say. It's a lot more RPG than it is action at the time. Fighting is very kind of bad, where you there's a little icon in the middle of your screen. You click on a dude, girl kind of auto walks to him, starts attacking, but you got to click in sequence, which is like click, click, click.
That's what I've heard. The battle system's really bad, isn't it?
Right. It's actually more fun the harder you put it on. Which is weird, but it's because you have to have a lot of intention and use your bombs and use your potions, right? Which is what being with The Witcher is about. It's not about whacking things with your sword. But the story's really good. I almost would just cheat through it. I would just make myself invincible, one-hit kill things, and then go through it, and I think it's a better game. Poor guys. But then The Witcher 2 is still rough by The Witcher 3's standards, but... really good storyline, lots of much better gameplay mechanics, but still a little wonky. Still, the upgrade system seems very like it loses itself, and you're kind of like, why am I even trying to upgrade this? And then like literally you spend 3 hours getting the materials to upgrade something, and then something better drops in 20 minutes. And you're like, why? Why would you have me craft this? So it's kind of weird. But the story is even better in 2, but you kind of get lost without 1. And then 3, everything is the best. They've clearly gotten better, way better with every iteration. So
that I've always found that kind of annoying in games where they have a way for you to purchase item or weapons or craft weapons sort of at your whim.
Yeah.
But it's almost always pointless to do so because you'll find a much better weapon almost immediately after you do that. Like Skyrim did that.
Yeah, Skyrim did that bad.
Diablo 1, 2, and 3, there's no point in buying anything from any of the shops because the first enemy you kill is going to drop something that's better, or the first chest you come across is better.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of putting in these purchase systems or these crafting systems if they're meaningless immediately?
It's because they playtest them and somebody gets frustrated and they think, oh, we need to dumb this down for the average gamer, but then the person who's going to spend the effort to design their thing isn't going to have as much time. So you're going to start The Witcher. Have you played The Witcher 2 or 1?
No, this will be my first entry in the series.
Have you read the book?
No.
You'd like the book. I have the book.
I need to read that. I'll have to borrow that.
There's actually a couple books now, but...
They're making a movie, right?
I hope not.
I could have
Please
sworn
stop
I saw a
making video game
trailer
movies that are already really good
The
as video
Witcher.
games.
Or like a teaser for The Witcher.
The Witcher... If you made The Witcher 3 into a movie, just The Witcher 3, not 1 or 2, it would be 40 hours long to hit all of the plot points that are important. It is... The Witcher 3 actually, for the first time, made me feel like I'm playing a novel.
2017, The Witcher.
Great.
In the works.
I'll probably watch it. I don't know.
You will watch it. You know you'll watch it.
I don't go to the movies very often.
Just because you don't have to go to the movies to watch the movie. You just might have to wait another half a year.
I think Interstellar's the last movie I got. Like, that's like, what, a year and a half now? 2 years, maybe?
Maybe a year.
Anyways.
Year and a half.
Yeah,
So
it's about a year and a half.
Witcher 3. Brandon?
I've never played it.
What
are you playing right now? Because I said I haven't played anything new since the last time we recorded.
What am I playing? I've been playing some Slither.io. Yeah.
Blank face.
It's a browser game where you play a snake trying to eat other snakes.
It is moderately enjoyable for 5 minutes. I don't know why Brandon is still playing it.
Yeah.
It's a good way to get out of doing work.
You have Reddit.
But Reddit doesn't let me eat other snakes.
That's true. Just other trolls.
I've been playing some. I haven't been playing a whole lot lately. I've still been playing a little bit of Ratchet and Clank, and Factorio. I'm playing some Factorio.
Yeah, and then I got several friends hooked on Factory Idol, which is which sounds like Factorio, even when you say it. Factory Idol, Factorio.
Yeah. Factory minus enemies.
I'll have to look that up. You were mentioning that earlier.
Yep.
It's drugs, Brandon.
It's drugs. Take these drugs.
Is this gonna get the?
Call me in the morning.
Is this gonna get the drink that's stuck in my throat out?
It might. Crinkle, crinkle.
No, it's just drugs.
Yeah, Factorio. Also, I've decided to take up DCS, which I looked up what it stood for so that I could mention it in the podcast.
Did you actually not know?
I had no idea.
Okay.
It says it once you launch it too, so that's kind of
it says DCS or what it means.
What it means.
What it means.
Oh, okay.
What it stands for.
But it stands for Digital Combat Simulator. So you already know it's going to be good, right?
Right, yeah, totally. That sounds great.
It's so...
Should have the word fun in it as well.
It's for people, like, it's for the people who buy trains, right? The Trains 2016, and they buy 500,000 trains. If you bought all the DLC for DCS, right now, it's $684, which with a new $60... It's not like Trains where it's like $10, $20 for this train. It's $60 for like the A10 Warthog. Somebody's gonna yell at me because I bet it's like $39 now or something.
Yeah, exactly. It's $35 now.
But it is it's for.
I have seen that now that you've mentioned it.
Okay,
I do know what you're talking about.
It's for hardcore simulation.
My God.
I want that.
I
remember
really
seeing it and wanting it, but it is expensive.
I really enjoy.
This is like Microsoft Flight Sim for.
It's more than Microsoft Flight Sim.
Yeah,
it's honestly more than Microsoft Flight Sim. It's for and they have both helicopters and airplanes. And the free version comes with two things. It comes with the Mustang of World War II era, and then the I think it's called the Su-25T Frogfoot, which is oh my God! See, if I get it wrong, I feel like the DCS fans are just gonna rip me apart. But
that's fine. Comment below if he gets anything wrong about DCS because totally we don't know.
Yeah, it's not our expertise. 36 minutes in it.
These add-ons aren't bad. $10.
I made a video of it, but it's so loud that I don't really want to publish it. Because here's a summary of the video. All right, viewers, let's play DCS. Okay, press start into the tutorial. All right. Tutorial voice is telling me to turn on the electrical system. I look around in my cockpit. I do have track IR, right, so I can move my head and look around, which is really nice. But I don't have a joystick. I don't have pedals. I don't have throttle control. I just have mouse and keyboard, and it's awful on mouse and keyboard. I think the point is you're supposed to customize your controls.
Yeah.
Which I haven't yet, and I need to spend like an hour doing.
If you're enthusiastic enough to start playing sims like Flight Simulator, Combat Simulator, or Train Simulator, you typically have a setup.
Great. Train Simulator is great.
Yeah,
put it out there.
I turn on the electrical systems, and the narrator goes, "All right, next up, you need to wait 3 minutes before you turn the engines on so that the gyros can stabilize."
This is Flight Simulator for combat vehicles.
Oh, yeah. And then it says something else, and it tells you what the next step is immediately, and I was like, do I wait 3 minutes now, or later, or whatever. And while I'm waiting, all of a sudden...
Do you hear the thing like revving up or whatever?
No, because I haven't turned the engines on. I've just turned the electrical systems on, so my HUD pops up, and the instruments come to life, right? I'm just looking around my cockpit, and all of a sudden, on the top right of my cockpit, there's this little red thing, and I can't read what it says because it's in Russian. Everything in the cockpit is in Russian.
Why did you pick a Russian plane?
It's the one they give you.
Yeah.
It's the one they give you. Why do they give you a Russian plane?
Why didn't you start off with the Mustang?
Maybe DCS is made by Russian people. I don't know.
Why didn't you start off with the Mustang?
Because that's not the tutorial one. The tutorial one is the Frogfoot, also known as the Grak. And all of a sudden, it's got this thing, and I forget what it's called. It's called like the Stika or something like that. And it's a radar system that I think it tells you when you're getting hit by radar. I don't know. Comment below. I don't know what it does, and I could really use that information. Because it just screams at you in Russian. It just screams at you. It just goes... I don't even know it because I don't know Russian at all, but it's like, "Bakin it, bakin it, bakin it, bakin it, bakin it." And I'm like, what? What are you screaming? The tutorial guy's still talking, and you're screaming at me and flashing this little red thing. I'm on the runway with no engines on. My canopy is not even closed. So then I'm like, oh, maybe it's the canopy. And I close the canopy, and it goes away for a second. But that was coincidental. I think because I realized there's airplanes in the sky, and I think whenever they fly past me, they have like active radar. And it tells me when active radar is hitting me. And I think that's all that thing does. Because, you can't tell with that level. It's like Cold War era or something equipment. So you can't tell radar launches or missile launches or anything like that. It's just like somebody's looking at you. That's all we can tell you. And it just drove me mad because as I'm taxiing through the runway and doing all of the tutorial stuff, it just goes off and on screaming at me. And I can't hear the dude, and it's really distracting, and I can't remember what I'm trying to do. And I'm like, couldn't they have just disabled this for the tutorial? For people who have no idea what this screaming thing is, you really have to address that. You can't just not address the screaming Russian thing. Like...
You should have just turned it off.
I don't know how. There's a million buttons.
Just push any of the buttons.
Start flipping all the buttons.
Do you want to know the startup sequence? This is the easy startup sequence. It's like right control L, electrical systems, shift C, canopy, and then you have to turn right alt home to turn on the right engine, right control home to turn on the left engine. That's right. You have to turn on both engines separately, and you can't do them at the same time because that's a problem.
With very unintuitive commands.
Very unintuitive
right control
commands.
And then right
to be
alt
fair,
to do right
to
and
be
left.
fair, you're playing it wrong. You're supposed to have a complete mock-up of that particular plane's cockpit.
I looked up online. Somebody has that for the A-10 Warthog, and
yeah. That's what these sim games are for. Like the flight simulator, people build airplanes in their garage.
Yeah.
Whole airplane cockpits.
Well, it was really funny because I was watching the guy do that, and one of the guys in my group explained to me one of the more complex cockpits, and it's very interesting. I love the design and I love the story behind it, but the problem that the game presents me with is it doesn't tell me any of that shit. It just throws you into a cockpit, tells you to press left control or whatever. I would actually rather it highlight in the cockpit what I have to press than it just telling me right alt home. Because I won't remember that. You know what I'll remember? Looking down at the control circuit board and being like, oh, these are the engines. And the thing is, you know when you see a row of switches and there's like 40 of them in a row? You usually just throw one of them and it throws all of them. And you almost, there is one situation out of a million where you would not throw them all at the same time. And the reason why it does that is because it has to have the circuit for every one of those, but they all just get thrown in the same switch. So digitally you need one switch, right? And so you have one control. But when you look at it physically, you're giant row of switches, wow, but you throw one of them and it throws them all because they're all directly linked to each other. So you're sitting there and you're being overwhelmed by all these switches, and he's like, all of these switches do one thing, and you throw one of them. So basically that entire 2x5 square is one button. It's not, you throw them all in the rows, but you just go flip, 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 flip. Now the engines are on. That's it. But in the game, it's all in Russian, and it has Russian lettering, and I'm just like, I don't know what this says. My flaps are on the left-hand side, and they look like this jury-rigged thing that they just, slapped on, oh shit, planes have flaps.
It's a Russian plane.
I know.
That's what do you expect from Russia?
I don't know, but I can't read it at all. And I don't know.
I think part of your frustration is you're expecting this to be a game. It's Microsoft Flight Sim.
It is not a game.
For combat planes.
Right. It's definitely...
It's for people who know how to fly planes.
It's also... Well, to be fair, I got it in the sky.
Yeah.
Did I land it?
No,
Microsoft... and I learned the Russian for...
Oh shit.
For I don't know what it actually is for, but it's you're gonna crash into the ground. And oddly, the screaming Russian man is not the one who tells you to pull up. It's a woman this time. And it's pull up, but it's but it's some girl. I'm like, oh, that's a new voice. Smash. Oh man, it's to be fair, I'm very little into it, and I tried to set it up on the Microsoft 360 controller, and it's okay, but it's crazy.
This is a dangerous game for you to get into as an unemployed person. You are just going to start building a cockpit now.
You say that like it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
We've actually discussed
What
this.
if I make my RX-7 into a fighter jet cockpit?
Oh man, that would be an amazing project.
Your car apart.
You would get amazing
right.
internet cred for that.
That's
and
true.
Get laughed at in real life, but have the amazing internet cred.
I don't know if it still works as a car also, but it's got this entire fighter jet interior. You know how cool that would be? People would be like, whoa. Just like that. Yeah, I don't have a joystick, and I've been trying to acquire a joystick for cheap. But anytime
you can't cheap out on that.
No,
stuff,
that's my problem. Is when I talk to my group, they understand, but they either have extremely cheap, where you're like, here's a $20 thing that you have to get an adapter for. That's another $20.
Get a parallel port or
a
joystick port. Nobody has those anymore.
Yeah, it's a joystick port. And it gives you no analog control at all. You have joysticks that aren't analog are pointless because that's the point of a joystick.
Right.
But then they're like, no, man. If you're gonna if you're going to play this at all, you might as well not play it or buy the $300 joystick. And they're like, each module's $60. If you're going to fly even 2 aircraft, like, you might as well have the good joystick. You know, and I'm looking at them, and they're like the HOTAS joysticks. It's a specific type of joystick, and they have like Satatech and Thrustmaster are like $400. Mm-hmm. And then I'm trying to get pedals.
You're going to be spending a lot more than that in the rest of your mock-up that you're going to have to build.
Right. Well, and then the pedals are like, they're really expensive too. And you can also, for the helicopters, get an analog collective, which is that stick on the left-hand side, or right, depending on which side of the helicopter you're flying. And yeah, it's just like, I just looked up the setup for it and I'm going, to get into this, like if you wanted to get into this, like, oh, this is my new hobby, I'm so excited about this, let me do the upfront. It's like $1,300 to get into this hobby, which, you know, PC gaming, that's a nice PC. You can play anything with $1,300.
The American way, $1,300.
We're not Americans
the
here.
American way?
Yeah, not Americans.
Europeans say the whole thing out.
Great. Yeah, so that's my tedious sim startup. And I'm trying, man. And I got in the air and I was enjoying it, and I do enjoy it. I'm not like totally just like, wow, this is stupid, I'm done. But they could have spent at least a day planning how to make this gamified a little bit. This game's been out forever.
But it's not for you. It's for enthusiasts. Just
but
like
you have
Train
to make
Simulator.
Enthusiast. It's just like Warhammer 40k, right?
You don't have to make enthusiast.
You do have to make enthusiast. You lose a lot of money if you try to. When I went to the Warhammer 40k workshop and the guy there didn't want to do anything.
This isn't the EA of enthusiast market. They're not trying to get everyone into.
That's like the opposite spectrum, though. You have to be nice. And you have to have a beginning thing. That's whenever you go to a game store, most good game stores that have tabletop stuff will give you a free figurine and show you how to paint it if they have time. Those are the good game stores.
And they gave you a tutorial on how to fly that screaming Russian plane.
This would be the equivalent tutorial in Warhammer 40k. Here's an entire army. You get it for free. We're requiring you to paint all of it before we let you play. And the moment you do play, we will destroy you over and over and over again until you accidentally learn how to win. That's it.
I mean, look, I get what you're saying, but the thing is, the market for these games, train sim, flight sim, and I guess DCS, not truck sim, because that's an entirely different market.
That is, yeah.
But the market for these games is for people who are enthusiastic about the real thing, and just like your Forzas and your Drive Clubs, it's about realism.
Drive Club is not about realism,
right.
Just so you know.
It's
visual,
about...
yes.
Yeah.
Everything else, no.
Sure.
They do
it's about realism even to a farther extent than driving games are nowadays. Like, the whole thing has to be real. And then that's why the tutorials are... they're not incredibly kid friendly because it's for people who already have that huge enthusiasm.
Why don't they give you the tutorials they give real pilots then? Because
now that would be good if they actually went through and tutorialized it the way that a flight instructor would do it.
Yeah,
that would have been a much better thing to do.
And they have a flight instructor, and that's the campaign. I would literally pay like $60 for someone to be like, "Here's the trainer aircraft," which they're putting out in DCS, the trainer aircraft, the one that almost everybody learns, like anyone who's going to be a fighter jet pilot learns on this trainer aircraft. They're putting that out. If with that, they put a campaign that had a flight instructor that told you what to do, sat in the cockpit with you or whatever.
You had to log your hours.
Yeah. That'd be cool. I'd like to have a career mode. Yeah. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Log your hours and whatnot. But
just you have a goal to achieve for that.
I don't think it'd be that hard. They just don't. They don't put their effort into that, and they just think, it's one of those things where, like, look, it's hard to get into, and if you're going to get into it, you're going to get into it, and if not, fuck off.
Well, if you're listening, DCS, this is what you got to do.
But I think a lot of people would appreciate it.
The other thing is, these kinds of things are usually not large teams. So it's and this is the same thing. I'm a software engineer. It's the same thing at work. You've got to know where to split your time.
Right.
And if you're catering to an enthusiast market who already knows this stuff, you're going to put more of your time into, we want more planes, we want more realism, we want more physics.
Yeah.
And you're going to put less of your time into, we're going to go take an actual flight class and program that into the game.
I swear half of them are real pilots, though.
They probably are, but...
I know, but that's the thing.
That doesn't make them good teachers, though.
It is true, like, to have to split that. Yeah, that's a good point. But... I don't know. They have all of this content out, and it's so difficult to access that they have enough content now. I feel like, like they have $700 worth of DLC. You can take a little time.
That's amateur hour compared to Train Sim.
Yes, that's true. But I think it's also way higher quality than Train Sim. They spend all the effort on the electronics packages, the handling characteristics. It's a train. It goes on a track. It has acceleration and deceleration, and
we're gonna get hate mail. So much hate mail.
Give it to me. I want it. I feed off that. So I don't know.
Derail the shit out of that train.
I've been searching Craigslist for joysticks and things, and people know now. Like several people know that I'm looking for these things, and so
You're jacking the prices.
Well, and I'm looking for steering wheels and those types of pedals also. Besides just rudder pedals, and so I've gotten. They're not in my possession yet, but somebody has gotten me Nintendo 64 steering wheel and pedals, which is hysterical, by the way. Look up videos on it. You can play Ocarina of Time with them.
I still can't believe that they work the way you said that they do. I think it's just a case of mismatched input.
I think so.
It's got to work like a real steering wheel if you support the steering wheel.
I don't know, man.
I can't imagine
you would
them
know
being
much
that
more
bad
on this than I would
at implementing that.
Yeah, and then I'm also getting a PS2 steering wheel and set.
I know that one works like a steering wheel. That is an analog steering wheel.
It's a Logitech, so I bet it does. So now I'm like trying to go find my old. I mean, I have all the 64 games lined up, but I'm trying to find like old PS2, like Gran Turismo and things like that, so I can play those.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I have it for the Xbox.
Do you have an original Xbox?
It's right there. It's
there
the
it
thing
is.
that looks like a brick.
For some reason, I thought you didn't. I have so many games I want us to play on that.
I do too.
I actually really love.
I have a bunch of my Xbox games.
I do. That is the
Oh,
only Microsoft console I have, though. I didn't get any of the ones past that.
I wish I didn't let someone borrow mine because I never got it back.
I let somebody have mine.
Yeah, I would have had a 360, but Miguel decided to sell it without telling any of us.
I have a broken one you can fix. I bet you could fix it.
What's wrong with that?
Red Ring Classic.
Oh, I could put it in the oven.
Can put it in the oven.
Yeah, that's how you fix it.
I did fix it once with the towel trick or whatever.
Yeah, I used a towel.
And it worked for like a month, and then it went back down again.
I did it a few times, and then it just...
It's just a connection problem, isn't it? Like...
It depends, but usually it's overheating, so solder joint broke on
the
processor.
Right. Yeah. That's what I mean. Physical disconnect.
That's not the only thing that can cause it, but that's usually the problem.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's most of the things I'm playing. Did I mention The Flame in the Flood?
No.
Last time.
Mm-mm.
No?
I don't know what you're talking about.
The Flame in the Flood, you guys know Don't Starve?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like Don't Starve, but not like I hate it. Like, I play it, and I just don't feel like it's got character, but it doesn't have enough character to carry it.
When was the last time you played it, though?
Like 2 months ago.
Oh, okay.
I played it...
Because they update that thing like every 2 weeks.
I know, but for not liking it, I have 30 hours in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because other people want to play and things like that. I don't start together.
Mm-hmm.
And...
you should try the new one, Shipwrecked.
No, I'm good. It has a really weird progression system to me that I fully understand, and even though I fully understand what I'm supposed to be doing, I can't get basic objectives done unless I luck out, and it feels like I just need to luck out. I'm playing right, and you just gotta luck out, and I don't like that.
I understand. Yeah, a lot of the progression is just based on you finding things in the world, and so most of the time you're just wandering around aimlessly because you can't. you can't just you can't wander around and then make your way back to safety in time by the end of the day. So you have to just build a whole ton of homes.
I had like a highway
everywhere.
of homes.
Yeah.
And then it felt like I was too spread out and I couldn't get a base going, and then I get killed by wolves, or I do get a base going and then there's nothing there in my base. I need to leave it because I don't have any more resources, and it never felt good. It never felt like, yeah, I'm doing the right thing, I'm getting things done. It always felt like, oh, I'm getting things done? Well, now I'm screwed because I set up everything here.
Right.
So
that and when you first play, you don't realize this, but you really have to like bum rush to getting a safe, home and everything. You have to get yourself set up early because it also has seasons, and you start out at the part of the season that has the longest day,
right?
And the day gets shorter and shorter and shorter as you go.
Yeah, and so I just never. I don't think it's bad or anything, but that type of progression is not for me. That said, the Flame and the Flood, much more character to it. It is, you don't have a base. The way it works is the world flooded, right? And you're this girl who has a raft. It starts off with the raft. The only way you can, she's got this little stick that has a lantern on the end of it, which has fireflies in it, right? And you have a dog named Aesop, which is nice reference. And I don't even know if that's the correct pronunciation, but the world flooded, and you need to survive, and you need all the basic stuff. You need to get health, food. You can upgrade your clothing, right? If you go to cold areas, you need to already have that clothing set up. And there's combat, but you have to get far enough to get things that you can use combat for, like arrows and stuff like that. And it's tough. You probably won't get it on your my first run through. I almost had stuff to fight with, and then I got killed by wolves. And I've only played it through once, but I really liked it. I only got it recently. It's got a really nice soundtrack that sometimes is... You ever have one of those soundtracks which kind of is, what do you call it? Situationally incorrect?
Yeah.
But it's like Mumford and Sons, honestly. But it's not Mumford and Sons. It's clearly like some indie band or something like that does it just as good. They're just not famous. Or maybe they are famous and I don't know that.
It just doesn't fit.
No, the music is so strong that it forces itself to fit. Like, you're sitting there and you're kind of like, your character's getting tired and you're eating something and you're like, oh man, I need to go find a place to sleep, but this is kind of a dire situation. And then it's like, bang, 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 oh, well, the flame and the blood, and we're going down. And you're like, all right, let's do this. And it kind of feels like that's how your character would be, right? They're tired, they're dying, and then they're like, all right, let's get this done. But then sometimes it does start like right when you're going to get on the ramp. So it's got two phases, essentially. One where you're on the river, which the world is flooded, so it's the whole world is a giant river that you go down. Your raft is upgradable, where at first all you're doing is ruddering it with your stupid stick, so you have like not a lot of control. You can just direct yourself, and you have to ride the currents.
Hope the current takes you.
You can upgrade to get a rudder, where you can actually like cut across the currents, right? But you still go with it. And then you can get an engine. On top of that, you can get all kinds of upgrades that give you food, water, shelter, things like that onto your raft. You can also upgrade yourself, get lots of items. You can upgrade your dog, who doesn't fight. He's there to carry things and point stuff out, which I enjoy. It's very much not about combat. Even though that exists in it, which I appreciate. Like a game that has combat but doesn't focus on it is a rare game.
Survival combat.
Yeah, survival combat.
Accomplishing something.
Right. And it's just the way the progression flows. So then there's different places you can land in the river, and then you explore them. And it's interesting because it tells you, I think it maps it out, and you can click on it and be like, what does this place normally have? And you can plan your route after you've been to them. So it's very, I don't know, the progression feels so much better, and the pacing and what you upgrade. And I don't like I don't dislike, but I don't think their characterization, their models for the girl, she looks a little bit too like Picasso Caroline. Her face is very asymmetric, but very wide, and she has these strange eyes. But to be fair, you're not looking at that like 95% of the time because it's top down. So
I just looked up the game. I actually really like the art style in the game.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's super stylized.
I would say that's the art style of everything. Everything there looks Picasso Caroline.
It does, but I think she's the least successful of it. Or maybe just because she's a human, it's harder to... It's like Psychonauts, right? Psychonauts has really strong characterization, but sometimes when you're looking at it, they're uncomfortable looking. And that's kind of part of the point, I think. So I wouldn't really detract from that. Really cool indie game, and it's like $15.
Is it so from what I saw in the pictures, and they were mostly promotional pictures, is it procedurally generated? Because it didn't look like it was. It looked like it was like a campaign, basically. There was like,
I don't know,
events and objectives and stuff.
So playing it, I don't know, which is good, right? That means if it is procedurally generated, holy crap, they're doing such a good job. It feels like it's designed.
If you can't tell that the world is changing every time you play a new game,
I've played once.
Oh, okay.
One time.
Yeah.
All right then.
But
he can't tell from a single playthrough.
So you're saying that there were no errors in the world generation, basically?
No. Some of it did seem a little repeated here and there, but elements were different in each section, so it felt new each time. I didn't know what I was getting into. I got into the third world, or whatever you call it, third area, where it was cities, and it was so different from what I had just seen that I was blown away, and I'm only like 3 out of like 10. So
I'll have to give that a go.
I think it's really good. I think it's my favorite of this genre.
Is it on Steam?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, The Flame and the Flood. Also, man, strong name.
Yeah.
I really like that name.
Chuck Reagan.
Is that what it's referencing?
Ragan. He's the music guy.
Oh, okay.
Chuck Ragan.
Shout out. You're real good.
Apparently you're pretty good.
Yeah. I was like, wow, this is an inappropriate time. And then I was like, man, this music is good. And then I'm like, now it's appropriate because I'm into it.
It's like so strong it drives your play.
It says folk rock music. That stuff's usually all right.
Yeah.
But I've never heard of him before, so I'm with you on that one.
I hadn't heard of him, and I hadn't heard of this game at all. And I saw when I looked at that, it was pretty good. So
yeah.
I don't even remember how it popped up. I think like Steam Watch List, and I just saw it.
I like the Steam Watch List.
It's been pretty good recently.
Yeah.
I'll finish your sentence for you. I know what you're trying to say.
It especially like you go in and it gives you that little like flip book style thing where you just sort of flip through them. But yeah, as you keep like saying not interested or watch list or whatever, it gets better. So I like that. It's pretty good.
It stopped recommending.
Good job, Steam. I'm glad Gabe Newell did something right now.
It stopped. Stopped recommending me anime dating some games. So I'm happy.
Yeah, it's sending those to me now, which is okay because I played them.
That's good. I signed you up for them.
That's fine. I'm totally fine.
Steam's getting some pretty ridiculous games on it though.
Yeah, it is. I hear people say, especially developers, like when I was at GDC and stuff like that, which I'll reference all the time because it's so amazing. Anyways, I feel like I say it a lot.
You do say it a lot. You say it at least once each podcast.
Yeah, sorry guys. Is that really annoying? It feels
no,
really
because
annoying.
I didn't know that you'd been.
Anyways, they complain about Steam sometimes, and
well, as they should.
As devs, I there's a bunch of, but they do what, like Nintendo used to be really hardcore on their Nintendo seal of approval during one of their console phases. It
really bit them in the butt for a little while too.
Right, it did, but they were hardcore about it. But that's just kind of the things that come with it. And I guess they're if they're PC developers are like, I should just be able to put any old crap that I want. But that's where you get 600,000 games Windows box, which only 2 of the games work, and all of them are clones of each other. Have you seen that?
Mm-hmm.
Hilarious. They were complaining about it, but Steam has I think saved PC gaming all by itself, kind of. Like, there was other factors, but every person I know who got into PC gaming, it was me and David, and that was it. No one else played PC that we knew at all. We were the only ones. Maybe somebody had picked up Warcraft 2 or something, and they're like, oh yeah, I forgot that PCs have games. I did play that. And you're like, oh, okay. But now it's a little different.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I know. I've just been living under a rock for the last 20 years.
No, a lot of people didn't play PC games, man. Like, I mean, we know people.
How can you forget? I mean, World of Warcraft is on TV. How can you forget that?
Well, now it is, right? Because it's been... World of Warcraft is probably the other major push. Yeah. I'd say World of Warcraft and Steam together have created this era of PC gaming.
Well, it's convenience. Convenience makes it so much easier for things to become popular. And Steam makes buying, downloading, installing, makes everything.
The people who are playing these games who don't go outside at all
convenient.
Now have the opportunity to purchase these games.
Even the people who do go outside, not every,
it's called a joke, Brandon.
Yeah. Well,
people don't get things sometimes.
Yeah, like it's super convenient, but they've also been around for a long. Steam started out really shitty, and everyone hated it.
I remember.
Yeah.
And now that Steam's just become the monopoly in that, basically. And there's a few other ones, but they don't get any traction. Desura is pretty decent, but it's just indie games, only indie games.
Yeah, see, I don't even know who that is.
I don't know who that is.
Desura?
It's Desura. It's Steam for indie games, but pretty much everything on Desura is on Steam now.
Desura?
Yeah, Desura.
Okay.
There used to be a pretty cool game that was basically a modern remake of XCOM, but proper instead of the crappy remake of XCOM.
It's not crappy. It's like
it's not XCOM.
It's critically acclaimed though. Like you can't just blatant.
No, sure, but it's not XCOM. It's not.
Well, to be fair, also, XCOM reinvented itself every single time.
But every single time, the combat system was the same, the research system was the same, yes.
I have all of them.
Yeah, and all of them are the same.
I guess I didn't get into them very much, but they were very different looking.
As many people as you can cram on that ship, you can take with you. And
some of them weren't even about, like, some of them you didn't even have individual troops you could command. It was like a resource thing.
No, all of them had individual units.
All right, fine.
Well, no,
I'll believe you.
Hold on, there was one, and that was the one where you had like a ship that you could fly around a city and shoot UFOs down on.
Yeah.
That one
I knew there was a weird one.
That one was the weird one, yeah.
Yeah.
But like the undersea one was good, but I don't know. We can talk about XCOM. I didn't like the remake. That much.
I need to spend some time on them.
The ending also disappointed me on the remake, but
do you know what? It's now owned by GameStop, but I had for a while. What was it called? Stardock Games, I think.
Stardock. They own game. No, Stardock owns Stardock.
They still own themselves, but they had a digital distribution platform.
They still publish games on Steam.
Yes, they publish on Steam now.
Somebody's talking about
Sins of a Solar Empire, right?
Well, and they publish some indie games now too.
Right. Well, and they published a MOBA, Demigod, that was a little before its time.
Yeah.
Poor Demigod. I liked Demigod.
I played it once. My computer sucked, so
it was high requirements.
It really was. I didn't expect it, and it was really poorly documented.
Yeah,
there was like no documentation.
No, there wasn't. And that was the opposite of League of Legends, right? It was kind of tactics.
Civilization too.
Yeah, it was like tactics and really high system requirements, and League of Legends was like children can play it, like 5-year-olds, and PCs that are older than the people playing it can play it. That's how you make money.
But I do have Demigod, and as soon as I have a better computer, I'd like to play it with someone.
I would play it again. It's fun.
The Off-World Trading Company was one that they released recently.
I played that too.
I want to play that one.
I mean, I didn't play that one. I watched somebody play that one. Which,
it's so hard to tell. Did I play that?
No, which is almost the same as playing it. It's just a resource game that you just... Yeah. And if that's what you want, it's like the best one.
Well, I like resource games.
I do too, but I need to physically drive it from place to place, or else I don't like the game. I don't know why.
It has to be like a digital pickup and delivery game.
And there needs to be like bandits that attack me, and I'll have to like drop my cargo if it's in a train and fly off and engage them, and I'm like, oh, they were holding stuff, and I'll add it to my cargo train and get moving.
But what are you saying about GameStop?
Anyways, yes, the original point. they have their own digital distribution platform. It was a platform. I had to install it. I don't remember what it was called. I swear it was just called Stardock or something. And you could only get Sins of a Solar Empire through that. Like when you bought it at Target on the little disc, they're like, install this shit. You need it. And so for Sins of a Solar Empire, I installed this thing. And then they sent out emails sometime in like 2011, I think. And they were like, hey, we're getting bought out. I think they gave me a code or something. No, they didn't. That's right, because I don't have it on there. But they said, like, your CDs will still work, and also you can still download it digitally through the new service, which is literally just called GameStop. It doesn't act like... I think they changed it by now. They should have if they haven't. But it literally... The app was called GameStop, and it was the GameStop icon on your thing, and that was it. It wasn't like GameStop digital distribution, the GDD, or anything like that. It just said GameStop, and then you clicked on it, and then it had your games, except that you were just assaulted by advertisements for other things. And then I saw that Sins of the Solar Empire, the next one, was on Steam instead of their old platform that they sold to somebody else. And how much of a not endorsement is that? Like, we sold you our platform and we don't want to be on it. Yeah. and so Sins of the Solar Empire Rebellion is on Steam. And
aptly named.
Yeah, really. It cracked me up. That was very weird. But I had Demigod on that too. Demigod was on that digital distribution platform. Impulse.
That was their system.
That's it.
Which they sold to GameStop.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is it still running? I mean, GameStop has the money to just keep it running, but
no. I guess I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't think so. If you do own those games, though, they have CD codes. Try putting a CD code into Steam. Usually, those kinds of things when that happens.
Yeah, I've done that a few times. Prey did that, and it like I got Prey at Half Price Books, and it was just a box. It didn't say Steam or anything on it. It just looked like a normal CD back in the day, where you had the CD and the CD key. And I put the CD key into Steam, and it redeemed it for Prey. And then I didn't need the box anymore. I didn't sell it back. I could have been a jerk and just given it straight back. But
don't do that.
That was so weird. No, I never. I don't know. I always was a goody two shoes about stuff like that.
I never did.
Even with pirating, like if I play it for more than a few hours, I'm like, I have to buy this. When I did that.
That's like I know so many people who got into pirating.
I know.
I don't know. I feel like I'm the odd one out because I never got into pirating.
I did when I had absolutely no money, and I was studying game design.
I never had
which at the time, like if you can't play games that are coming out while studying game design, you're just so behind on the language and technology of what's possible that you're kind of. It's not like playing games is critical to that, but it does. It does help a lot. It's like not watching any movies while doing filmography, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh no, I still just have my stuff from 1980. I'm more working off of Lethal Weapon still. And everyone's like, there's new camera techniques.
Why are you laughing?
That's the last movie I watched. Yeah, but. If I could, I would buy them whenever I could. And then after I got a job, I don't think I've pirated anything since then.
Yeah. Now you're unemployed, so now you're just constantly pirating, right?
Nope.
Non-stop.
Nope, I got a sugar mama.
Oh, yeah.
That's how you get life. That's how you get life, boys.
But, everyone at home, just run through all your old games and try it. Just start trying every single CD code on Steam. When I first found that out, I was like, oh my god, that's awesome! Like
it is crazy.
You don't even think about it because they don't look like Steam keys because it's just your game's key. But a lot of the old games that just got moved over to Steam, they're like, you know what? Here's all the Steam. Here's all my CD keys, Steam, or here's my algorithm. Just give it to people.
Yeah. The wow, lost my train of thought entirely there. Oh well.
Yeah, good.
CD keys. Oh, I remember. SWAT 4. Doesn't seem like a game either of you guys would play.
I might.
Heard of it.
I don't think I played SWAT 4. Is that Daryl Gates?
I don't know.
Similar?
I don't know Daryl Gates.
Okay.
I don't know what that is.
It's like his name. It's like Chuck Reagan.
Chuck Reagan.
That's his name. Maybe I'm just...
So SWAT 4 is probably the best game ever to feature SWAT members.
Real SWAT members?
Not real people, but you know, it gives you the, like, you have to take down suspects, but if you just kill everybody, you get terrible scores and fail the campaign.
So it's like SWAT sim.
Yeah, but it's not simulator. It's really fun.
Simulators aren't fun now, huh?
Not at a base level. You have to go into them buying into it. So the first level of SWAT 4 is a really easy one because there's only one perp. But it's a level where you go into a house. This is actually one of the games that inspired me to want to do level design, is and to look at that at all, and to look at making games. You go into a normal suburban house. Normal. And his mom is in there, and she'll yell at you, and you have to restrain her. But if you attack her with even like a taser or a beanbag, she dies. You have to use the correct amount of force because she's an old lady, which I found very interesting, which essentially is just handcuffing her. You don't really have to do very much more than that. You can also mace her. Just a little bit. How much you mace matters too. So you're just like, puff, and she's like, ah, and then you're like, all right, and then you arrest her. But he can be up there too, and he has a pistol. But he randomly spawns and patrols the bad guy, the serial killer. And he's tunneled beneath the house, like bigger than the house is. All of these little tunnels where he has his serial killer lair. And you have to go through, rescue. Sometimes there's people who are alive. Sometimes how quick you do it matters if they'll live or not. Because he'll kill them just patrolling. And then you have to capture him, and you should take him alive. It's one guy, there's 4 of you. You should be able to take him alive. I thought it was a very interesting game because it gave you that perspective on police, right? How difficult it is to use those tactics. But also how you can use it if you're trained right and know what you're doing. And it's not available anywhere, ever. You can only pretty much get it on eBay now by buying the physical CDs. I got it, again, at Half Price Books, because that's where I got everything during college. I got into it like 4 years after it was major. There's still people playing this game to this day. That's how good it is. And the problem is you go to their forums and stuff, and they're like, yeah, go to eBay. Be prepared to shell like $100. But I've tried putting the code into Steam.
Is it on Steam?
No.
Well, the game has to be on Steam for that to work.
I know, but I was going to say that when I figured out that Prey could do that, I then tried SWAT 4. And it didn't work. And I was like, no, the CDs are the only thing. So I'm actually like ripping the CDs to my computer and putting them as backup just in case I ever break them, because they're so valuable. I don't want to lose that. And I love that game. I come back to it every few years. Now that I'm talking about it, I'm probably going to go play it again. But that's a really interesting game. I don't think I've played a game like it since. And it's one of those games that not nobody, but a lot of people don't seem to know about. It has very unique mechanics, especially for a shooter, and it captures the theme extremely well, right? Of being a SWAT officer. You need to use the right amount of force, even though you've got machine guns and everything like that. The only time like that's ever acceptable is when they shoot at you first. And you're going in there and they're armed robbers. You think they'd just be like, boom, flashbang, you're all dead. And you can. It's so easy to do that. And then they're like, you murdered the suspects. We couldn't bring them to justice.
Yeah. Do you know that series at all? Like any of the history in
No, I don't know that
series? So those were originally games Police Quest, and then later SWAT.
Police Quest.
They started off with the Police Quest 1 through 4, and I think 5 and 6 are also the first SWAT games. The first 3 games were made by an LA, or were produced by a Los Angeles police officer.
Wow.
But I think starting with like the 4th game or somewhere, 3rd, 4th game or somewhere in there, Daryl Gates, who was a former police chief for the LAPD, who was credited with actually starting SWAT along with some other dude. I can't think of the other officer that was credited with doing that back in the 60s. They were the producers and police consultants, basically, for the game themselves. So they are all very heavily influenced by actual procedure and tactics, and that's why there's a lot of credit given to those aspects of those games.
Thanks, son.
Daryl Gates himself also has a lot of controversy for being super, super hardline law enforcement. So there's that aspect to those games as well. But for a simulation, or I guess mostly kind of simulation, even though those were shooters, the other games were more simulators, but still kind of fit that role, and they do them, from that perspective really well.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even know any of that, and I was like, this seems really reasonable and real, and that, like, I've never done any of that kind of stuff, but it also gave me perspective into how SWAT has to operate and how difficult that is. Because you have, like, a sniper, and 90% of the time, all he's going to do is stare at things.
Yep.
And give you intel. He's not going to shoot anything. And if you use it in the very first level, the sniper is pointed directly at where the granny goes all the time, and you can't tell that it's the granny because of the curtains and everything. And so if you take the shot, you murder an innocent person.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. That's the very, very first level. I honestly like that first level more than all the other levels because it's just so thematic and taking down a serial killer, man. You're being a real cop, you're helping people, whereas the bank robbers, you're helping the bank.
Well, I mean, that money belongs to somebody.
Yeah, but they have it insured, so really,
up to a certain amount.
I did like in the first SWAT. In the first SWAT, you get planning phases down, like which officers you took and the equipment that they had.
You get that.
And you do that from the other side. It was just really interesting, the simulation at the level that it was, that you were actually like recruiting people one way or the other, on whichever side.
Yeah.
But you're right. Yeah, it felt really weird playing on the villain side. So I ended up playing.
You can't play on the villain on this one.
On that one.
It's been a long time. Maybe you can. I don't remember.
I don't remember on the first person, because 3 and 4 were shooters, where the others were just kind of like point and click simulator.
Okay.
There's some gaming groups like your gaming group that does stuff like that though. You can do things in like Gary's Mod and Counter Strike.
Yeah.
Yeah, where you can do terrorist hostages and people. I mean, most of to get the same feel as SWAT, you'd have to do a bit of role playing as well. But I mean, serious gaming groups.
I know people do the role playing aspect of that. My group is like the only one I trust to not get really weird about that. But they haven't played SWAT 4 in a long time.
Yeah.
And we have one. We just have Arma. That's the main thing we do. But we do have hostages and terrorists, and we have little gimmick games like that. And I've been the leader of the terrorists, or whatever, the hostage takers, and we have the hostages, and we get brutal. Sometimes it gets a little too real, a little too fast, because like one of the hostages is just joking around and being like, "No, man, let me go. I'm just gonna walk out the door." And I'm like, "If you walk out that door, I will kill you." And like Katie was listening to me play, and I think I got a little weird there for a moment, because I was the leader, right? And so I kind of got into the role play of it, but I also was really frustrated at this member to be like, you need to stay put. He's gotten away so many times because people just let him go because they don't know how to control him, right? If you don't have a real fear of death, you can just walk out the door and do whatever you want, right? And it's Arma, so it's not like we don't have any mods or anything in this one that lets us, restrain you or anything like that. You get to just sprint out the window or whatever, and half the time you'll die, and half the time you'll be invincible. But I was like, I was telling one of them, you don't get to talk, because he always talks his way out of everything. Like, you don't get to talk. The other guy's allowed to talk. This is also going to disguise where we have this hostage, because if he thinks we only have one hostage there, and I let that hostage talk freely, their intel is wrong, right? So I said, you don't get to talk, hostage. But you, other hostage, you get to talk all you want. And the guy kept talking, the guy that I told not to. And I was like, if you talk again, I will shoot you. If you talk again after that, I will kill you. And then he was like, oh, so I need to not talk, huh? Boom, shot him in the leg. And he goes, ow, why did you do that? Boom, shot him in the head. And the other guy goes, what the And I heard, like, his voice, and, like, it was really, like, upset, kind of, and, like, kind of scared in a way. And I was like, oh, man, this is really menacing all of a sudden. So that level of roleplay, I was enjoying it until that guy had that reaction. And then I, all of a sudden, like, felt really uncomfortable with myself. And I was like, oh, my God, I mean, it's still just a game. But that felt brutal and mean, and it was effective, right? The other guy shut up, because then I needed him to shut up, because now I really did have one less hostage. And the cops come up and they're like, we heard a gunshot. And I'm like, somebody didn't follow my instructions. You'll need to do the same, or else have the same fate. And they were like, okay, what are your demands? It was pretty funny. I held a flashbang in front of my own face, and that's how I got away from the cops. Which was, yeah, pretty silly, right? Because they were like, get on the ground, throw your gun on the ground. And I was like, yeah, my gun's on the ground, officer. And they're like, all right, do this. And I just took out a flashbang and was like, ding! And they're like, oh, I just heard something. And they all look towards where the other troops are instead of me. And I'm like, hey, officers! And they all turn and look, boom, the flashbang explodes, and I just sprint in a direction. Which you would probably just run into everything and really hurt yourself if you did that, but you know. But yeah, there's those games.
Yeah. I think that that level of role playing I think is would be pretty neat to get into. It's weird at first, yeah, but it like if everyone plays the part right and you don't have the people who are just goofing off and breaking the realism,
right?
I think that it could be really.
Well, that's
a really neat experience.
And that's why that guy had to die.
It was.
Yeah.
Most of the time, they're
obviously being
it.
the bad guy can be a bit weird at times, though. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, you trade off and you do it for a little while and you get better at it, and I don't know. It's like a world like D&D and stuff like that. I mean,
right. Well, and D&D is probably the best example of that. Yeah. Like even Moose here has been in 2 campaigns that I've run.
Yes.
And both times we had new people to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wes doesn't invite me to his campaigns.
Well, if we start another new one, which might have to, you can replace Miguel. But because we haven't played in like a month. But yeah, each time we get new players, and when I first started too, I was really leery of it, and it's so funny because D&D has that level of people being really uncomfortable with it, right? Like, you know, you guys are like, I'm the tavern wench, and I throw a spell of sorcery at you, and you're like, when you just take that excerpt from it, you don't take any of the context, you don't take any of the build-up, you don't see any of the jokes we did next to it, also self-referential, making fun of that. But then you get a moment where you're into the game, and you say those nerdy, geeky words, and you don't realize how nerdy it sounds because it's in the context of the game and it makes sense what you're doing and you're into it. And I mean, freaking, when you take a step back, it feels really weird, but when you're playing it's actually such an immersive and interesting experience, especially if you have people who play it right, that I get really disappointed in gaming groups where I hear them say stuff like, oh, haha, well, I played a bard and I had to make this horse, I charmed this horse, and then I made him, well, there's this goblin, and I made them have sex. I'm like, as your DM, I would have killed both of you. That's stupid. It brings everybody out of the game, and yeah, haha, funny, but, like, what you're actually doing is dumb. I make jokes all the time, but usually either it's funny just because of what happened, and you're just like, wow, amazing, you just punched out this dude in the middle of the open and then intimidated an entire garrison of people. That's pretty baller, and then we'll make fun of it. But I don't, the story isn't that.
Yeah.
Some joke dude rolled 4 20s and got to have everything in the entire world or whatever like that. I know people run it very differently, but that's what I think is the level of difference, is how comfortable you are in actually immersing yourself in an experience. And everyone I've played with, total jocks, girls who are not interested in anything related to games. That was back in college, and people from all these different walks of life all have gotten into it. I think that's a really interesting experience when you have the right people for it.
I always think it's really weird when people try and knock that. It's all really like jocks and everything like that. It's all, there's not that much difference. It's a matter of perspective. Like it's a stats game, it's a numbers game, and then there's a bit of story on top of it. And you look at jocks, but football is a stats game. It's a numbers game.
Fantasy football is one of the nerdiest things I can imagine.
It is. But it is the most nerdy thing that I can imagine. And you're talking about jocks not getting into games like that because it's like that. I don't understand why more nerds don't play fantasy football. Because you guys would wreck shop if you did.
But it's because it's football. That's why I don't want to
hold
play.
on now. The nerds are the ones wrecking shop. The jocks are the ones losing money constantly on fantasy football. I mean, if you look at FanDuel and what's that other one that's getting sued?
I don't know.
Whatever, Daily Jam or whatever.
I so don't.
I can't think of the name of it. But you tried. You don't. We watched football this last year.
Like
and it was annoying as hell.
You have to be both to win at fantasy football. You have to know the players and know all the stats.
Not even that. Like you don't even like they interviewed some of the people that were like the top leaderboard, consistently top leaderboard on those. Mm-hmm. And there were people who didn't like football, didn't watch football. They just made a spreadsheet with algorithms and were like, "That's
spreadsheet with the algorithms that they took from their job, which was working at the other company." And
no, they didn't interview those people because that's a secret. They interviewed like the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I'm a stock trader by day, so I just took my stock formulas and my predictive algorithms and just whatever. Yeah, I spend all day just building spreadsheets. Don't even watch football. I don't like football. It's pretty boring."
Yeah,
but yeah, this is the nerds are the ones winning that. But anyone can get into this because some aspect of your day is nerdy. I mean, it's just a matter of perspective. You're like, no, that's not nerdy. I do it. But, well, no, it's nerdy.
And which has lost a lot of its stigma over the years. Nerdiness has lost a lot of its stigma.
But geekiness hasn't.
Well, no one's going to love you,
No,
Brandon.
geekiness probably
I'm not
more.
a geek.
You know what? You know why the word geek is so overused now? I think it's purely because of that one shop that I can't remember the name of now. It's like Geek Gifts or something. Think Geek. That's it.
Yeah.
God, so many people talk to me about that. Like so many people who aren't geeky at all and don't understand any of the world or like what I actually like or anything like that. Constantly link me things to Think Geek, and I'm always like, So Eldridge bought me a Boba Fett mug before I left, and I really like Boba Fett. I really like Mandalorians in the extended universe, which now no longer exists, so maybe I don't like it now. I don't know. But it had this beautiful, it's this pure color and really awesome, and it has his personal emblem that's on his shoulder, right? Yeah. And I'm like, oh yeah. But then they just slapped a crappy photorealistic picture of Boba Fett right over it. I'm not going to say ruined because I still really appreciate the gift.
Right.
It's very thoughtful. And it is. And I still like it. I still absolutely like it. But the people who made it, I think it's Think Geek. And why did you slap Boba Fett on the freaking face? The whole point of it being like in quotes, nerdy and geeky and self-referential is nobody would have any idea. Not nobody. It's Star Wars. There's millions and billions of fans. But I didn't need a picture of Boba Fett on the face. I know who that is. If I get a mug of him, I'm going to know that emblem.
Right.
Or don't have the emblem and just have him, or pick one. It's like they couldn't decide, and they decided to slap both. And I don't know, it's just very... Things like that, like the nerd culture, but being influenced by branding, and then how much they think they need to go to the common denominator. I don't like almost everything on Think Geek. Every time somebody links me something, I have a small issue with it, which I feel like is when I'm at my maximum nerdiness, is when I'm like, excuse me, this. And it's not like they're wrong. I'm not nitpicking, saying like, that emblem was only worn by him in 2 episodes, not 3. I'm not doing that. I'm saying that...
I feel what you're saying. And recently, I've not been impressed by what's been on Think Geek.
But well, they're at GameStop now.
Yeah, and before I used to really like it, but now it does seem like the sort of stuff that I would see like in any other sort of pop culture shop.
It's all pop culture now.
Which is like, here's a brand and here's a product we can crank out in some Chinese shop that you're going to buy because it's related to this thing that we think you like.
Yeah, which to be fair, Star Wars is maximum amount of brandage.
Yeah,
so it's hard to...
That's what happens, and that's fair. But I remember it being a lot more than that. Like, ThinkGeek used to be way more than that. So
I've started collecting...
By being way less than what it is,
Yeah. I've started collecting bad Star Wars shirts. Like,
man.
Like, you know how people in Japan and China... They often collect English shirts, right? Which have, they don't make sense.
Yeah, yes.
English.
Yeah. It's like that, except it's made by people who do speak English, I think. And they just
It's not.
Well, yeah, not actually, but I mean designed.
A lot of them are now. A lot of them are now for that reason, because then they can have a shirt with a hamburger saying "I want to be inside you" on it. And
now that's a thing that's popular. Well, so I've gotten a couple shirts, and one of them is it's black with a blue image of Darth Vader on it, and it says "Vader lives." What does that mean? No, he doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. It makes no sense at all.
Not even the color scheme makes sense. Black and blue.
Black and it's teal, actually. It's not even like blue. It's teal. It's not his like original lightsaber color.
Yeah.
It just makes none of the decisions on this shirt make sense. And I'm trying to remember
except
my
for
other
Elvis
one.
Lives. Like, that's, I imagine what.
And that's kind of what it looks like it's referencing, but it still doesn't make sense even in that referential context. You're just taking two pop culture references and smashing them together and being
that's what most of them.
But they have to have something to do with each other. He wasn't a star, and the whole point of Elvis Lives is that people think he's really still alive and like his death was faked, right? It's a movie and they show him die. Like, what do you want? And now they've got new movies. He's very much dead. You're very, very certain that he's dead. I mean, at the end of the third one, his ghost is there. What more do you need? What, like...
I don't know. We never saw a funeral.
Yes, you did. Is that the joke? Are you joking with me?
There wasn't a funeral. You saw him die. You didn't see a funeral.
For Darth Vader? I'm going to kill you.
Was there
It's over. All right, people.
Vader?
Here we go.
The next time on Behind the Star Wars Movies, we're going to watch the three movies with Brandon and make sure
we're titling this,
I can't watch
Brandon
them.
Doesn't Know Star Wars.
I can't watch them because Anselmo won't give me my copy of Star Wars back.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, sure.
Your homework is
he won't
watch
give them
Star Wars
back.
Episode 3. I have the original cuts. I will give them to you.
On Laserdisc?
No, but I really want them.
That's the only way that you can get
3?
the theatrical cut.
Yeah. Well, yes, I know. I still reference 1, 2, 3 being the original series instead of by episode number.
Just have to call that out because we would get yelled at.
No, that's fair.
If I didn't.
That's fair, especially when I'm yelling about something in Star Wars.
Yes. Very much so.
Yeah. So, anyways, I have a hobby of collecting terrible, stupid, nonsensical Star Wars shirts. I don't have a Star Wars shirt on right now, although it's the same color scheme as this. But I'm trying to remember my other one, and it also is something with Darth Vader, which is why I always forget it because I don't wear it. It's too small for me. But it's another one that's like that. It's like Vote Vader or something, which is a common-ish one, but it's some like subtype of that. It's like somebody saw Vote Vader and then thought like, oh, Vader is a political entity, and then it's like Governor Vader or something like that. I'm trying to remember it now. It's been so long since I took it out, but it's something that makes zero sense at all. But it's like they saw something else, saw that it sold, and then having no idea why that was popular, tried to reproduce it.
I like the mixed universes stuff that goes around, like how to annoy a nerd with like Vader doing Spock hands.
Oh right, yeah.
Live long and prosper from Picard.
I feel like those have never, ever since that meme very first existed. I don't think anyone's ever taken it seriously. You know, I can't imagine if you get mad at that, you have a social problem.
You're like a large super nerd.
I want this one just because of how terrible it is.
Yeah, look, it's like NASA, right? Darth Vader lives with like a NASA background.
Look at the name.
Oh, Vadar.
Vadar.
Yeah, that's bad. See, typos I don't care about. I like everything about it.
I love it more for that.
Yeah.
Because it's like, wow, that's awful. I need that.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are my weird. That's my like sub hipsteriness.
Sub hipster.
Yeah, because it's got to be correct enough. It can't just be bad. It has to be bad in like a way that somebody who has no idea what Star Wars is wouldn't know why it's wrong. I don't know.
All right. I guess we'll call it a show here then.
Sure. We talked about anime and Star Wars and weird Sims.
This is really just becoming a general podcast.
Yeah.
Watch out for Kickstarter. We're gonna get Weston a jet engine mock-up.
Please no, I have no room for that.
Get him a cockpit
with a big old Darth Vader lives decal on the side.
Yeah, it's a TIE fighter cockpit.
Yeah.
It'll be a pinup girl.
I saw one of those.
Vader.
Really?
I've seen one online. Yeah, someone made a cockpit of the TIE fighter.
Probably.
And used it in I think
Fighter?
Microsoft Flight Sim.
Oh, I play TIE Fighter with it.
I'd play TIE Fighter. That seems like the thing to do.
You can only play one game in it.
Yeah, one game ever. That Warthog one, it really is. You can only play DCS, and you can only play the Warthog module because it has
all
the
switches for that.
So his whole huge cockpit.
You could. It would just be you'd have to change the input or do something else to it and just be like, I'm flying this plane wrong.
Yeah.
He's probably just got an entire lineup of cockpits.
It is the Warthog, though.
And he just gets out of one and gets in the other.
It's the Burt machine. I'm so glad they're keeping the Warthogs around. Yeah. You don't... Why did you... U.S. military, you have a thing that works. It still kills everything ever. Use it. Last topic, real fast.
Oh.
You guys heard about the... What are we on, the F-35 now?
Yes.
F-35.
I was actually going to bring that up, but I'm glad you did.
Yeah. F-35, they're so desperate in this day of...
So is that the one that can't get out of research?
Yeah. Okay. We're trying to sell it to other countries now, and I think it's the Danes who, or the Finnish or somebody like that, who was like, oh, this vehicle beat all of the other vehicles we're considering, like the Eurofighter and other things like that, in our tests. And they were like, oh, what were your tests?
It cost money?
No. Yes, actually, you're extremely close. Their tests, in quote, were essentially a spreadsheet of how much it costs. There's a little bit more to that story, but not much. They didn't fly it against anything. They didn't fly it at all.
It doesn't fly.
It does fly.
It flies.
It just can't beat. It does so many rolls that everything can beat it at its own roll, including like long range sensor combat. Like I think the SU, 27 or 37?
I'm not sure.
Beats it.
Sounds right, but I won't say for sure.
It entirely beats it on a sensor range. I'm sure super nerds may be angry at me because I'm super simplifying it, which your knowledge is appreciated. Yeah, but
tweet angry tweets at Weston.
I love being educated. I do. But yeah, they literally in the U.S. was marketing this, right? Being like, look, somebody really likes our aircraft, American citizens. We didn't have the biggest boondoggle in all of history. And all they did was say, oh, it'll cost us less. And you know why? Because we're pulling a PS3. We would sell it to them for less than we should by a lot. Like, we won't make our money back.
No one's going to buy it for $8 trillion.
Right.
It's not going to cost $8 trillion.
So this cost analysis... Now, to be fair, the maintenance fees are still insane compared to you and I, what we could achieve in our lifetimes. But if we're not Elon Musk. I always want to call him Musk.
Why'd you call him Ellen?
Elon?
Yeah, Elon.
Sorry, buddy.
I was like, who's Elon Musk?
Anyways. Yeah, so all it was they had a spreadsheet and said, oh, it'll cost us less over 10 years to have the F-35. And that's why it wins. It literally said beats out, or not even beats out, beats Eurofighter. Do you know what that headline means? That headline means you had a dogfight and it won. That headline does not mean that it costs less. You know what else costs less? A cardboard box. Is that... cardboard box beats F-35.
Yeah, it does. I'm
Done.
down for that.
Replace all fighter jets I'm looking at it, and they actually do more than just talking about future development. I mean, mission effectiveness can be, designed on range or other things as well. So there are other factors in that, besides just cost. But yes, future development is a part of that. Yes.
Well, and that's what they talk about in there, because they didn't fly it. They didn't even run models. Like they didn't even run like war games or anything. They just said it was going to be efficient. That's it. You can't just say that. The tests show that it isn't.
And this shows like this graph is very.
The graph is
no
pointless.
scale.
Mission effectiveness is what? 3? Mission effectiveness is 3.
You don't know what they did.
They say what
they're
they did.
ranking, but it's a ranking off of some scale, and
Business Insider said what they did.
Yeah, it's just so stupid.
Yeah, the one thing that's on here is like life cycle cost, and that's fine, but
I'm sure someone
life cycle
did
cost is
something.
a big part of it. Yeah, so it's just very frustrating. It can, literally in a dogfight, it gets beat out by like MiG-29s and shit, stuff that's been around for like North Korea could beat it. Like if you're like, oh okay, we finally got in a war with Russia or North Korea, right? We're blown out of the sky.
Last I heard, North Korea had super weapons.
Nukes.
Yeah.
Someday they're just going to blow themselves up and it's going to be sad.
No,
I heard that North Korea has some of the most advanced airships.
Airships?
In the world. Yeah.
Were they like Zeppelins?
Yeah, they've got some of the most advanced. They've got basically dragons you ride on.
Yeah. I hear the leader of their country is a god.
I'm defecting.
Yeah, that's what
I'm defecting. I'm leaving. Here we go.
I heard that Kim Jong-un, Kim Jong-il doesn't poop either. Yeah.
He has people that do that for him.
Yeah.
When you're a god, you can do that.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a butthole.
Yeah. So since we talked about DCS, I just wanted to
insert that makes
news at the end there.
Make it a little political.
A little political at the end there. God, we spent so much money on it. It makes me so sad. But we're keeping the A10s, so that's nice.
Well, you really wanted that to work after all the money that we put into it and it's going to cost?
No, it makes more sense for it to fail.
Yeah, just get rid of it.
We have to start all over and spend that much money again for something else.
You know what?
The thing is, we can retrofit almost everything with the research we've done.
We should have sued the company a long time ago for breach of contract.
But I think
not renew the contract at a higher rate.
I'm pretty sure some of the people who own that company are directly related to
Raytheon,
senators.
isn't it?
Of course.
Right, Raytheon? Or no, who's making this?
It's not Lockheed.
Or is it Lockheed?
I thought it was Lockheed.
Sure
Lockheed. All right.
God, they have
either
way,
yeah, they're in bed with the senators.
Yeah, they're in bed so hard, like both familially and monetarily.
You remember Elon Musk was mad about that too, because it was impossible for him to get any contracts,
right? Yeah,
to put up satellites or anything like that, because they were just he was like
Lockheed Martin.
He was like underbidding and stuff like that, I think, and they were like, no, we're gonna go with the more expensive one.
Program cost at the moment is $1.5 trillion.
Now, I read something recently that it hasn't actually cost $1.5 trillion. That's the maintenance that we're also including in the contract.
And total with inflation.
Right. Yeah, that's also total with inflation.
So it has not cost 1.5, but will over the lifetime of the maintenance contract.
No, I don't think that's a projection.
I don't think it's a projection. Just including research.
It's including research, maintenance,
deployment,
all of that.
Well, there's no maintenance yet. They haven't built a fleet. Like
they built many.
They do have.
They have several that are actually in existence.
I just skim headlines, so I'm probably not right on that. Don't send me any letters.
I don't know it well enough. I get up on it every once in a while, but yeah, it's just stupid.
Because my impression was that we've spent billions on R&D so far, and we've built a couple of test models, but the 1.5 was the contract calls for this many to be built in a fleet, and then this long of a maintenance, and that's how much we're paying you for it.
Right.
So it's not a projection; it's the contracted price with inflation.
I don't think this is even I don't think this is even the contract price. I think it's how much it's cost us today.
Yeah.
Not counting what it's going to cost us in the future. It's bad. Like even if that's what, a third of our national debt.
It's a plane that no one wants either.
Yeah, nobody wants it.
The Air Force doesn't need it. They've said
we
they
want
don't want it.
We want the Danes to buy 27 of them. So
it's just like the Navy doesn't want those aircraft carriers that they're forcing on them, and the Army doesn't want those tanks that they're forcing on them. They're just sitting in storage.
Yep, it's bad, man. It's real bad.
America. That's enough for political hour, though.
Yep. All right.
We'll catch you guys next time
on Behind the Politics.
Yeah.
We don't even have to change the acronym.